What's going on? It's a lot of stuff that took place over the last couple of days, so I just wanted to take a few moments to come and chop it up with my family and share some stuff with y'all. Based on my understanding of some things, I feel that it's important that at the time and space that we find ourselves, that we make ourselves available to information. In the military, we're taught that the best indicator of future behavior is previous behavior. If the best indicator of future behavior is previous behavior, I think it becomes important that we understand what that previous behavior looks like, so that way we can have an idea of the continuum that we operating on, so that way we can maneuver without being deceived. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Zay? I see you out there. Hey, so check this out. What I want to do is I want to just take a moment and I just want to share with you some information, man. I'm gonna just read y'all some stuff real quick, and I just like for y'all to consider this, because we spend a lot of time in schools, but we don't necessarily spend a lot of time in the right information. And I think that if we spend our time in some better information, then it may be to our benefit, man. You know what I'm saying? As we move forward. So hang around, lay around for it, chilling, man. Lay around for it. What I'm going to share to you comes from this book, man. If you don't have this book, man, make sure you go get this book. One time for my son, retired Parks, who shared with us a lot of good books the other day. But if you don't have this book, man, grab this book right here and make yourself aware of the information that's contained inside of this book. I'm going to read to y'all some things real quick, and I just want y'all to consider this, man, based on the fact that the best indicator of future behavior is previous behavior. And as you thinking about or considering the things that I'm going to share with you, I want y'all to consider what just took place in South Carolina with the mistrial of Walter Scott, because that was a travesty of justice. So I'm going to read to y'all some stuff, and I want y'all to just consider the time frame that I'm reading from. It says, on a Saturday afternoon, April 23rd, 1899, more than 2,000 white Georgians, some of them arriving from Atlanta on a special excursion train, assembled near the town of Newman to witness the execution of Sam Hose, a black Georgian. The event assumed a familiar format. Like so many lynchings, this one became a public spectacle. As in most lynchings, the guilt of the victim had not been proven in a court of law. As in most lynchings, no member of the crowd wore a mask, nor did anyone attempt to conceal the names of the perpetrators. Indeed, newspaper reporters noted the active participation of some of the region's most prominent citizens. And as in most lynchings, the white press and public expressed its solidarity in the name of white supremacy and ignored any information that contradicted the people's verdict. Sam Hose worked for a planter, Alfred Cranford. He asked his employer for advance and pay. Some reported he had tried to collect wages already owed him, and for permission to visit his ill mother. The planter refused, precipitating a harsh exchange of words. On the following day, while Hose chopped wood, Cranford resumed the argument, this time drawing his pistol and threatening to kill Hose. In self-defense, Hose flung his axe, striking Cranford in the head and killing him instantly. Within 2 days, newspapers reported an altogether different version. Cranford had been eating dinner when Hose, a monster in human form, sneaked up on him, buried an axe in his skull, and after pillaging the house, dragged Mrs. Cranford into the room where her husband lay dying and raped her. And versions of Cranford's death varied. The story of Sam Hose's fate did not. After stripping Hose of his clothes and chaining him to a tree, the self-appointed executioner stacked kerosene-soaked wood high around him before saturating Hose with oil and applying the torch. They cut off his fingers, ears, and genitals and skinned his face. While some in the crowd plunged knives into the victim's flesh, others watched with unfeigning satisfaction, as one reporter noted. The contortions of Sam Hose's body and the flames rose, distorting his features, causing his eyes to bulge out of their sockets and rupturing his veins. The only sounds that came from the victim's lips, even as his blood sizzled in the fire, were, "Oh my God, oh Jesus." Before Hose's body had even cooled, his heart and liver were removed and cut into several pieces, and his bones were crushed into small particles. The crowd fought over the souvenirs. Shortly after the lynching, one of the participants reportedly left for the state capitol, hoping to deliver a slice of Sam Hose's heart to the governor of Georgia, who would call Sam Hos's deeds the most diabolical in the annals of crime. The next morning, smoldering ashes and a blackened stake were all that remained. On the trunk of a tree near the scene, a placard read, "We must protect our Southern women." And one prominent Georgia woman, Rebecca Felton, gave voice to that sentiment. The premeditated outrage on Mrs. Crawford was infinitely more intolerable than the murder of her husband. As for Hose, Felton claimed, any true-hearted husband or father would happily dispatch the beast with no more concern than if he were shooting down a mad dog. Indeed, the dog is more worthy of sympathy. That's how they viewed blacks during that dispensation of time in 1899. We gotta always consider the fact that we're not so far removed from that period of time in our history where we can watch an unarmed man gunned down by an officer of the law. And for those who know me, know I have people in my family that are law enforcement officials, and I if something was to happen to my brother-in-law, it would very, very severely injure my heart. I would do everything in my power in order to ensure that he received justice, because we, as black people in America, we fight a war or wage a war on two fronts. But the unarmed killing of a man, and then the mistrial when the facts were so apparent. I mean, what is the value of life that exists? Or what is the value that is placed on a black life? Because we can't even say what's the value of life, because we saw when a group of individuals felt that a wrong occurred to someone from their demographic, what was done? Thousands of people came in order to support that. See, when somebody does us incorrectly, thousands of people need to show up. Our problem is that 200 or 300 people go to the streets and acts of protest at 9 o'clock at night. But when the trials are occurring, thousands, hundreds of thousands should come out and show of support that we demand justice. That's what justice looks like. We really have to really consider where we are and what we're willing to do in order to attain or achieve the level of respect that we deserve. Not that we deserve. It was required. You know what I'm saying? Because we could talk about what we deserve, but we deserve a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Those things that we deserve, we've not yet gotten those things that we deserve. So now it's time for us to stop sitting around waiting for somebody to do something for us, because no one is going to do anything for us. That time is not going to happen. And so, we work together, or we've come together, me and my brother, to try to develop a platform so that we can empower citizens. But at the end of the day, what must occur is that we need a heart transplant. We have to stop being afraid to walk in our light and do those things that we know the time requires. I understand we all have good natures and good hearts, and we want to try to be, good citizens and love everybody equally, but that's not reality. Reality is that you can't love everyone equally in the society and in the system where people are going to treat individuals differently based on their differences. And see, when you peel away the onion and you look at it from just the purity of the thing, let's and me, I try not to mix what I say with what I do for a living. I try not to mix what I say with my personal belief in a divine creator. But as a basis, we are 1 in 7 billion. Every single individual that's on the planet, and I just want you to consider what I'm going to say. Every single individual that's on the planet is divinely special. You're the only you that there ever was and that there ever will be. The way God created the system, he created a system so that every single person on the planet will have an opportunity to experience oneness. And so 1 in 7 billion, that's where we find ourselves. So when you kill one person, 1 in 7 billion, it's just as if you murdered God himself. So if we could allow these things to take place and we sit idly by while we worry about, such trivial things, we got to ask ourselves, what's the value of life? What's the value of freedom? And what are we willing to do in order to, have and enjoy the freedoms that's required by our God-given right? Right. So we look in the Bible, man, and somewhere around the 26th verse or the first chapter, God creates man in his own image. And so when I was sitting there looking at that thing, I said, man, there's something special inside of that word own, right? Because when a person establishes ownership of a thing, they have the ability to choose or determine how that thing that I have or that I possess or that I am the owner of, I have the ability to determine how that thing will be utilized. So now if the owner of the human form is God and he gives himself the ability to determine the usage of the human form, and he says that form is made in my image and according to my likeness, then who in the hell gave the right who in the hell authorized the government of this great nation that we all find ourselves citizens of? Who gave them the right to determine that one group of individuals from that society or from the human race was only 3/5 of a human? How is that even possible? You see what I'm saying? What is the value of life? And who the hell are you to think that you can determine now that an individual is 3/5 of a human based on what? Based on you getting it. I'm trying not to, because I'm trying to come away from using profanity. But you got it effed up, man, because you saw yourself more than what you actually were, right? And so we got to do something today. We got to do something today. What is it that we can do right now? Right now, the thing that we can do is we can make ourselves available. We sit up in a lot of college classes and we get a lot of education, right? And we know a lot of useless ass information. But history best rewards the researcher. So me, I sit and I do this book here, man. The Warmth of Other Suns. Right, it's written by a woman named Isabel Wilkerson. Right, and that book, it details the transition of blacks during the time of the Great Migration in that 1930s era, coming up out of Jim Crow, when individuals started to move on north in order to participate in the industrialization, right? To remove themselves from the South, that Jim Crow oppression that was occurring in the South, they began to migrate north because the opportunities existed north. And when they migrated north, they took with them, all of their determination and their ambition. They moved north into industrialization, but they didn't move north into freedom. They just moved north into a different level of oppression. And so what we have to realize is that in order for us to really be able to achieve the promise that God has for us, then what we have to do is we have to, regardless of our differences or regardless of our geographical location, we got to be able to figure out how to migrate back into a consciousness that will give us the ability to experience life the way that we should experience life. You see what I'm saying? Because we got it a little twisted right now, man. We got it a little twisted. When we watch what happened, so now they have a mistrial. The man don't get charged with murder. They're gonna charge him for manslaughter. And what he gonna get? 2 or 3 years? 3 or 4 years? 5 or 10? Man, god damn. Hey man, hey, look, I ain't finna ride this thing on out. But, because me and my wife, sometimes we be sitting there looking at Walter Scott. I crack a lot of jokes about Walter, man. Because when Walter turned to run off, man, he was moving kind of slow. You know what I'm saying? But he shouldn't even have had to run. Because that man shouldn't even have done pull out that fire on Walter. You see what I'm saying? But when Walter turned his back, that coward took that as an opportunity to gun that man down. You see what I'm saying? Now had the roles been reversed, and had this been 1875, 1890, 19, even if it had been today, they'd have ensured that justice was performed on the behalf of the individual who took the life of somebody who was from their demographic. And I deal with a lot of Caucasian people, you know what I'm saying? And I'm interested to know how you feel about these things as y'all watch members from our community brutally slain. And I'd be damned if you get your ass on this timeline when y'all see me on here and say something negative about what deserved what and who deserved who. I don't give a damn if they had drugs on them. I don't give a damn if they had weapons on them in a place where it's the right to carry. I don't care, right? Because you're a trained professional. We taught in the military: show, shove, shout, shoot again. The 3 P's: positive identification, a hostile intent, things that you have to have in order to qualify the taking of someone's life in matters of self-defense, right? But when the person is gone, you don't have an opportunity to determine whether or not those things will occur. Man, I once heard a senior military official say it's easier to explain. Man, I want y'all to listen to me carefully, right? Because y'all sleep. We sleep in those things that we think we understand. We sleep in our comfort, but we don't really understand the mind, the strategic mind of individuals who do stuff inside of our community, who do stuff on the planet, who are entrusted with leadership. Right? I want you to listen carefully. And for those individuals who heard this, y'all ain't gotta say that y'all heard this if you ever click on this video and you get to this point. And if you was there present when these words were uttered, man, y'all just keep this to yourself. If y'all know y'all was there, you know what I'm saying? I got y'all. I'll speak up for y'all, right? I once heard a military official say, it's easier to explain a dead terrorist than an injured civilian. Think about that. It's easier to explain a dead terrorist than an injured civilian. See, a lot of times, once an individual is gone, they can't defend themselves. So the individuals that are alive, they write the story and they're able to determine and assign values to those individuals who remain. You see what I'm saying? Stop being scared today, right? If those individuals who are alive, they get a chance to write the story and they get a chance to determine the course of events and the nature of events. It's easier to explain a dead terrorist than it is to explain an injured or a wounded civilian. See, Walter Scott, we can't really say what happened with Walter Scott. We really can't say what happened with Keith Lamont Scott. We can't explain the mentality that he was operating from. We can't explain what Mike Brown was feeling because he's been ripped away from us by an individual who have an opportunity to voice their side of the story. But it's always three sides to a story. Your side, my side, and the truth. What's the truth? See, the truth is that we ain't doing our part as a community in order to ensure that justice is served to individuals in our communities, right? Man, I'm gonna tell you what'll be a beautiful day to me, man. A beautiful day to me is next time them jokers getting ready to try whatever that joker name is, man, that shot Walter Scott, man, all of us should show up, man. All of us, man, we should rent cars, man, and we should go out there and we should go park up on the lawn. You know what I'm saying? Like how they used to do back in the day. And we need to sit out there until the verdict is returned. And those jurors need to understand that the community is behind the family of Walter Scott. The community is behind the family of Keith Lamont Scott. We need to stop playing games and stop being so doggone scared. We need to get tied up in movements that are going to give us the ability to stand for our community. But if you are tied to the mentality or the educational system or the economic paradigm of your oppressor, oh my God, we don't stand a chance. Hey, y'all, check this out, man, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Right? I've had a chance in my life to be a straight A student and a high school dropout. I've had a chance in my life to, walk the streets of the black community standing for, the evolutionary thinking of the black man and woman in America. And I've had an opportunity to stand on foreign soil in defense of America's foreign policy objectives. I've had an opportunity to be completely broke, and I've had an opportunity to strive for success. And in my 41 years, what I understand about freedom is that freedom is the ability to be able to choose to live your life however you want to live your life. When an individual takes their ability to choose and imposes their choice on individuals because they feel like they have the right to do so, that is not freedom. You don't have the freedom to do that. What you just done is you just created oppression. So now you become an oppressor. You have to give people the ability to do what they want to do, how they want to do it. You understand? So we need to learn better what freedom is, and then we need to be able to begin to exercise our freedoms. And we need to start by standing up for something, man. You know what I'm saying? So, we developed this platform, Freedom Ties, and I ask y'all, man, you know what I'm saying? Get tied up in the movement. Visit our website. Figure out what we're all about. Help us help these organizations that are inside of our communities that are empowering the minds of children. I asked about how you tied that up. How you went from talking about Keith Lamont Scott and Walter Scott to talk about Freedom Ties. Hell, because Freedom Ties is our platform. Every time I open my mouth, man, it's Freedom Ties to the death of me. You see what I'm saying? Because I believe wholeheartedly in what we're sacrificing our lives mobilize in order to do for the communities of the United States of America, for the black communities, the impoverished communities. And with me, for those of y'all who know me, hey, please understand that I'm a student of the teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I believe in that with all my heart, but I ain't racist, and I don't just see black people, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like white people are in a bad condition too, you know what I'm saying? They just by the benefit of the virtue of their complexion, sometimes they get a chance to, you know what I'm saying, snake their way through some of the things that we don't necessarily have to, that we have to face on a day-to-day basis. But you don't choose. Check this out, man. Hey, man, check me out. You don't choose who you are, right? You ain't choose that. You ain't choose your mother and your father. You ain't choose that, right? That choice was made for you and predetermined in the full knowledge of God. He sent you in the same manner in which he sent Christ. He sent you. You proceeded forth and came forth from the God. And you didn't come of your own. He sent you. Right? We need to understand the wisdom in these things, man, and start standing up based on what we got to do. What does the time necessitate? The time necessitates that we come together. There is no help coming. There is nobody that's going to come magically and going to do something for us. I listen to a lot of intelligent men and women. They speak about change and the evolution of our communities and the things that need to be done in order to evolve our communities. And they always speak about it so futuristic, like something that can be done, something that we have to do when it occur and if it occur and how it will occur. The time is now. The time is now. It's time for us now to do it now. It's time for us to come together now. It's time for us to pool our resources now. It ain't something that need to happen tomorrow. It can be done with $5, $10, $20. If we, 46 million people times $5, do the math. 46 million people. If 46 million people put together $1 a year, that's $46 million a year. How much do land cost? I was having a conversation in California with a group of individuals, and I told them, I said, everybody sitting at this table, about 12 people. I said, man, everybody sitting at this table should give me $100 a month. And you know how black women is. Why would anybody give you $100? Anybody give you $100? I trust you with my money. I said, are you a homeowner? She said, no, you rent. She said, yeah. I said, I'm a homeowner, right? My mortgage costs roughly $1,000 a month. I pay $1,000 a month for like 1/8 of an acre worth of land. Right? I said the house, when I brought it, it costed about $250,000. 1/8 of an acre worth of land, $1,000 a month on a $250,000 house. I saw 100 acres worth of land for $300,000. Right? 100 acres worth of land for $300,000. I'm paying $1,000 a month on 1/8 of an acre worth of land on a $250,000 house. It's 12 of us here. You see what I'm saying? When we learn how to pool our resources, then we can have with abundance. We don't got, our poverty exists in our mindset because we don't have the ability to see the bigger picture. So we are our own enemies. That's why stuff happened like what happened to Walter Scott. That's why stuff happened like that happened to Keith Lamont Scott, because we don't control our reality. So when you don't control your reality and the individual come into your environment, they're going to come into your environment with their perception, how they see you, what they believe, what they feel. They bring all that crap into your neighborhood. And when they bring that crap into your neighborhood, then they begin the process of exercising, imposing their will, right? They begin to remove freedom from your community and they institute oppression, because now I'm bringing what I believe, my concepts, the concepts that I've been given the ability to choose. Now I'm going to put it on you. So now y'all see me sitting here in a suit, but if you see, but shoot, I used to be just like everybody else out there on the block, hanging out, Dickie down, because y'all know I'm from Dade County. Y'all know that's how we do. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get me a Dickie and some Timbs, and I'm finna kick it like it ain't never been kicked it before. I ran up and down them same streets. You see what I'm saying? So I've had some of them same issues that individuals in our community face. It's time now that we evolve ourselves, out of that condition. And we can do it by pooling our resources. So I ask all of you, visit our website. It's time, it's time. Visit our website, figure out what we're about, encourage your friends, connect, share the information that we share. I ain't saying that I'm special. I know that I'm not special. I know that I'm not one of those orators that you turn on and you see them and you get all excited about them and you go pay money to go see it. That's not what it is. I'm y'all brother, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm from y'all condition. So what I'm saying is that what we can do if we come together, empires are built. Man, I learned this the other day. Empires are built on family. Empires are built on family. When family come together and believe in one another, we are a family. We're a community. When we come together, what we can do is we can correct the social ills of the entire planet. There is no group of people on the planet that have experienced within inside of the last 50,000 years that have experienced what we experienced in America. Take it or let it alone. No one has experienced what we experienced. And we have to ask ourselves why. You know, maybe in the future, when I get an opportunity to chop it up with y'all, I'll explain to y'all why based on my understanding. When I get together and I talk with y'all in the future, I want to really clearly get y'all to understand why it's important that we pool our resources. God will not bless us if we will not bless ourselves. Real quick, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Let's talk about God level problems, right? Because a lot of times we sit around and and I know I'm all over the place. I done talked about like 2 or different 3 energies over the course of the last couple of minutes, but I'm gonna share this with y'all and I'm gonna let y'all go, right? Because I know y'all got to get y'all some rest, and I want y'all to understand this as we move forward, right? All right. Sometimes we give stuff to God that He reject them deposits. He say, man, you probably should keep that yourself because I'm busy, right? All right, because he's created a system. We already said now he created us in his image and according to his likeness. So now if he created us in his image and according to his likeness, then that means he equipped inside of the human being is a degree of power that if we tap it, we can correct some things, right? So check this out. God, hey, let's talk about a God level problem versus a human level problem. A human level problem. My rent is due, and I just got fired from my job. Please, God, help me. Nah, he probably not going to answer that one, champ. You see what I'm saying? Because if you ain't done figured out a way in order to secure yourself and your family, right, he probably not going to answer that one, right? He probably not going to answer that one. Oh, God, my old lady just cheated on me with my best friend. He probably ain't gonna answer that one neither. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't had done figured out how to get her flowers and read her poetry and walk with her and take her out and make her feel special, he probably not gonna answer that one neither. Watch this one. Oh God, the lake in back of my house just dried up, and I used that lake in order to irrigate my land. He probably ain't gonna answer that one neither. You know why? Because he's taught us through science how to take 2 hydrogen molecules and cut them up with an oxygen molecule and make water, H2O. So he probably ain't gonna answer that one either. You see what I'm saying? God, the sun just went out. There's no sun. It's 12 o'clock noon, and the planet is spinning ridiculously out of control, about to run into Mars. God level event. Hey, here he come. Oh, I'll give you another. I'm gonna give you another God level event. God, a group of people just been taken and placed into bondage, right? And have been robbed of their name, their religion, their culture, their God. Everything that they know have been extinct. Hey, baby. Hey, Ashley. That's a God level event. I gave y'all 2 examples of God level events. Now, I want you to think about in your life right now, how many God level events you got occurring, how many things you get on your knees and you ask God to help you with. But we ain't willing to come together and put together our nickels, dimes, dollars, quarters, and pennies in order to create economic systems in order to bring ourselves out of this condition. But yet and still we want to run to governments and we want to ask people to assist us with resources in order to correct the conditions in our community when we get $1.3 trillion a year. You see what I'm saying? God ain't obligated to come to our rescue and to our aid when he already have created inside of the human being a fantastic mind with the ability to conceive systems and create solutions to problems, to fill in the gaps. So I want y'all to fill in the gaps. The gap that we have created, my brother and I, is called Freedom Ties. Visit the site, man. Get tied up in the movement. Allow us the ability to now redirect a portion of our wealth by simply buying a tie, man. Hey, I'm telling you, man, when you get wrapped up and you put yourself in the tie, it make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, so listen, thank y'all for spending a little bit of time with me today. I want y'all to consider some of the stuff that I shared with y'all and share this information. Share. Get tied up in the movement. Pass out our website, man. Freedom Ties, right? Take the Freedom Tie Challenge. You know what I'm saying? Go to our website, order a tie, right? And then recommend somebody else, 2 or 3 of your friends, and tell them to buy a tie, right? Why? Because we got to be able to empower ourselves, and we're never, ever going to be able to do it if we don't start making sacrifices. And we'll talk about sacrifices later, man, because y'all ain't ready for that because we cheat. You see what I'm saying? We cheat. Hey, we want something for nothing. We want to hit the number. Man, ain't no... How many times you done hit that damn number? How many times you done went and played the lottery? You done spent $20, $30 on lottery tickets and it never ever occurred. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Hey, wake the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Wake up and realize that it ain't finna happen. Man, hell, shoot, man. If God bless you right now with $2 or $3 million, you probably drink yourself into a stupor and get hauled off out of here and drink yourself to death, man. God's smarter than that, man. That thing ain't gonna happen like that. All right. All right. Hey, so listen, thank y'all, man. Hey, I love y'all. Y'all continue to do on what you do, but just try to do what you do a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? A little bit better today than you did yesterday. And let's go ahead and let's correct the conditions that exist in our community, man. Get tied up in the movement, man. Freedomties.com. By the people to build the people. Peace.